I'm a middle-aged millennial, which means in my lifetime, I have seen video games go from 8-bit visual representations on a screen to striking visuals that could almost be confused with real life if you don't look at it long enough. And younger me always attributed to better graphics, better video game, but that's not always the case. Better graphics and complex mechanics does not a great game make. Sometimes beauty can be found in simplicity, as is the case with Citizen Sleeper, Starward Vector. I'm just going to be straight up, forward, and honest. This game might not be for a lot of people, but I love this game. I loved the first game, and I'll say that you don't need to play the first one to enjoy the second one. Citizen Sleeper 2 is a game with fantastic world building, intriguing plot, and moments of tension that can make your palms sweat, all wrapped up in a game that could basically be boiled down to a visual novel RPG with a dice-rolling roguelike mechanic. But to simplify it as so would be doing the game an injustice. But I'm also aware that this simplicity of the way that the game is presented to the player, it will cause people to bounce off of it. There is a lot of reading, and I know as time has moved forward in video games, most of us expect voiceover work. We don't want to read, we just want to sit back and enjoy it and be told the story. We don't want to put in the extra work, and I get that. And if that's you, that is okay. But if you think for just a minute that you might be able to look past this, I will tell you it is worth it. My initial thoughts of Citizen Sleeper 2 were basically if you took the world of The Expanse, whether it be from the book or the TV show, and married them with the non-combat RPG elements of Disco Elysium. That being said, if you didn't like games like Disco Elysium, especially when they were first released without the voiceover work, this probably is not going to be your cup of tea, which is a damn shame because there's a lot going on here that's really, really good. Me personally, I was addicted to this game. I was losing sleep because I wanted to know more. I needed to move forward. I needed to see what was going to happen next. And I think that alone is a testament to just how great this game is and how good its writing can be. And while I wouldn't consider this game to be a choices matter, the resulting dice rolls attached to those choices matter. In fact, I might go so far as to say the fact that these rolls matter and dictate you're going to get a vastly different experience. My first playthrough on normal difficulty, I ended up breaking some of my dice, which is a mechanic in the game, which I think gives the game a really interesting feel, the way that the mechanics are woven into the overall story of the game, being is that you are a piece of machinery, and as you fail, parts of you seem to break down and don't function as properly, which is represented in the dice that you're rolling to perform any actions in the game. You're just given 3 slots for a save, and you only get 1 save per playthrough, which is all done via an autosave function, which means you're stuck with the rolls that you get. Sometimes they're terrible, but I will say that it's not game ending. That is, unless of course you're playing on the hardest difficulty, and in which extreme failure towards the end of the game can lead to a death, which means restarting. But the game does only take about 20 hours to get through, and that's reading through everything, so I don't think that that's a huge detriment to the game's overall quality. And there's also a touch of resource management. You got to make sure that you have enough money to buy fuel for your ship to fly to the next space station, and you also have to make sure that you have enough money to buy food in order to maintain your energy. And while running out of these resources isn't game ending, it definitely will have consequences later on down the road. And while this game has a lot of tension built around the dice rolling mechanics, there's added tension in the game with moments that are timed based on how many cycles it takes you to perform certain tasks, represented by little clocks with a red timer. And then when it reaches 0, an in-game event's going to happen. Now, my playthrough, I was able to beat all of these timers, but in your playthrough, you might have some bad luck. You might not be able to get done in time. Now, these also don't mean game over. This just means that the story is going to change. There's something that's going to happen. There will be a shift in the narrative. I would suspect if these are anything like they were in the first game, these events aren't necessarily game ending, but they're not going to necessarily be good either. And all of this is set to a fantastic soundtrack that I guess could only be described as dark ambient chill hop. Take a listen. You tell me what you think. This game portrays a dark dystopian future where someone like you or me might have debt, and we are then put into what I'm assuming is a medically induced coma, our brains scanned, and then that brain's scan gets redirected to a robot somewhere out in space to work hard labor in either a mine or factory jobs, which allows Citizen Sleeper to play around with concepts like questioning what is consciousness? What does it actually mean to be alive, to perceive, to exist? In the moment before waking, the dark space before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. Usually, these pieces come with a particular cadence, each appearing sequentially, like the boot process of an old terminal. First, your body, artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the same. Then it's context, the breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your birth in 0G. Then emotion, coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it that first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles. Fear. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered. Among all that disarray, only one familiar thing arrives: the fear. It is a scrambled, panicked fear, the drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong. Something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper. The voice is whispered in your ear, an act that makes you suddenly aware of your head, pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Sleeper. A familiar name. A mind copied, emulated, a body built, implanted. One person sleeping until their debt is worked away. Their double being made to work, to be consumed, and eventually to be destroyed. A proxy, an emulation, a sleeper. That is what you are. When starting up a brand new game, you're going to be presented with 3 difficulties. I would recommend going ahead and still playing risky, but if you don't want to run the risk of having to restart a run because of some bad luck, then I would go ahead and run with a safe playthrough. But I feel that there may be a little bit of that in-game tension will be lost, and I think that there's a lot of magic to be found there. But you do you. I'm not going to judge. I play a lot of games on easy, but I felt a game like this deserved a little bit of a challenge. And then upon confirming your difficulty, you'll be given the choice between 3 character classes. You have the Operator, the Mechanist, and of course the Extractor. And each of these characters do come with their own benefits, which I won't go into detail here. I think the tutorial does a fantastic job of explaining all of this. In each in-game day, you're going to receive 5 dice. Now, you'll see I have 2 glitch dice. That is because in this playthrough, I have taken some damage. We have had some failures, which are permanent glitches in my system. These are now permanently broken dice that will follow me throughout the rest of my playthrough. And these dice are refilled every day, which are represented as cycles in-game. You have 5 actions that you can take on any given map, and then you have to rest. And you are also given 5 bits of food, so you need to be eating to top this up. And then of course you have these circles up here, which will fill with stress based off of certain events and missions that you're doing and how well you're doing based off of your dice rolls. And throughout your adventures in Citizen Sleeper 2, you'll meet very interesting characters, you'll be presented with very difficult choices. I feel that Citizen Sleeper 2 is a must-play experience. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what the developers over at Jump Over the Age have in store for us in the future. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Greatly appreciate your support. Sorry it's been so long since I've uploaded a video. I got really sick. My family got really sick. It's been a mess, but I'm back. And if you ever want to interact with me live, I'm over on Twitch Tuesday through Friday, mostly during the day, and sometimes I make an appearance on the weekends. You know, I'm just kind of all over the place. I'm a stay-at-home dad. Who knows what my schedule is, but come by, say hey, and hang out once in a while. And until next time, stay weird, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video. Sometimes beauty can be found in simplicity, as is the case with